Welcome back to my channel. Chuck Schumer just gave a huge update, and they plan on getting the stimulus package done by December 13th. At the same time, Bernie Sanders is trying to include a stimulus check for seniors, some saying as high as $2,000. So what's going on with negotiations? Will we get the stimulus checks for seniors, and will it actually be approved by December 13th? Let's discuss the details, but before we jump into it, do me a quick favor, hit like, hit subscribe, and share this channel with anyone who you think might find this helpful. And as always, guys, I just want to remind you that the purpose of this channel is for me to be a voice for seniors and a voice for those who are disabled, as President Biden on the campaign trail promised to increase Social Security benefits. He promised to increase SSI and SSDI as well. He promised to expand Medicare and just generally take care of seniors in this country who have paid taxes their entire lives. So I'm here to be a voice for you, because the louder our voices are, the harder it is for them to ignore the fact that seniors still have not gotten a stimulus check that's specifically for seniors. Remember, Democrats were trying to do $200 per month until the pandemic was over. We never got that. So now we're trying to get a stimulus check for seniors, whether it's $1,000, $1,400, or $2,000. So all of this is the point of my channel, as well as being an advocate to increase Social Security benefits as well, to make sure that nobody is forced to live in poverty after paying into the system their entire lives. So with that said, folks, it's been a humbling experience to be here on this channel, building this community to over 111,000 people who support seniors and support, honestly, our message of making sure that seniors are able to live in a retirement of dignity. Now, really quick before we jump into the update, I just want to say, if you want to really support my work, subscribe to my second channel. The link to that is going to be in the comments of this video. And that channel is going to be more of an entertainment-based community where I'm going to be on screen, going live, playing bingo, playing casino games, playing the lottery. And you guys can comment live so we can chat back and forth. You can play bingo with me. And I'm even going to be giving away stimulus checks. So subscribe to that channel. I'm going to start giving away a stimulus check at least once a week. And honestly, if the channel gets even bigger, we'll try and do more. But it just depends on how big the channel gets. But thank you so much for supporting my work, and the link to that channel is going to be in the comments of this video. Okay, so let's jump right into today's updates. First, let's do a quick update on daily trending news. First of all, let's talk about Trump. This headline is titled, "Trump urges McConnell to endanger the U.S. economy so Democrats can't pass their spending bill." Now, I know half of you love hearing about Trump. The other half of you can't stand it. So I'll make this quick. It's going to be about a minute or two at most. Then we'll jump into the other updates. Now, what this is referring to is Trump is urging McConnell to not help Democrats in raising the debt ceiling. Remember, the debt ceiling crisis is tied in with stimulus. We've talked about that many times on this channel, but it's kind of complicating stimulus negotiations. I won't go too deep into that now. But all you need to know is former President Trump is urging Mitch McConnell to use the debt ceiling to block Biden's agenda. Congress has until December 15th to raise the limit and keep the U.S. from defaulting on its debt. Using the ceiling as a political weapon risks unprecedented economic catastrophe. Former President Donald Trump wants Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell to use the debt ceiling to kill the Biden administration's spending agenda. Guys, this is something that's actually happened before. The government, a couple of things. The government, first of all, has never defaulted on its debts. It's never fully run out of funding. But at the same time, the government has shut down. It actually shut down during the Trump administration for, I think, about a month. So this is something that could happen. And Donald Trump is basically telling him, like, hey, don't give Democrats any favors, because technically what they can do is they can force Democrats to include the debt ceiling increase in the stimulus package. And if they do that, it's going to put Democrats in a tough situation. First of all, it's going to complicate negotiations, and it's going to slow down the stimulus package, which is Donald Trump's point here, right? Make things more difficult for Democrats. But at the same time, then you're going to risk U.S. defaulting, the United States defaulting on its debts, which would tank the stock market. It would cause more inflation. It would just be really, really bad across the board. So Trump making headlines once again, folks. And we all know about the relationship between Trump and McConnell, right? These two don't like each other. It has to do with what happened in January. I think you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens if Trump runs in 2024. And it's going to be interesting to see what Mitch McConnell does now in regards to the debt ceiling. It seems as though he's going to relatively work with Democrats to get that done, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, a couple more things in trending news, and then we'll jump into the stimulus update. Chuck Schumer's deadline of December 13th to try and get the stimulus package done, and Bernie Sanders' fight to include stimulus checks for seniors. Dr. Oz, folks, let's talk about a couple of kind of celebrities, whether there's an A-list celebrity and a B-list celebrity, who have been talking about running for office. Now, Dr. Oz, the controversial medical physician, Dr. Oz confirms he's running for the Senate seat in Pennsylvania, and he's running as a Republican. Now, let me know in the comments, guys. Do you like Dr. Oz? I know a lot of people who watch my show do watch Dr. Oz. A lot of people hate Dr. Oz. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. He's a pretty polarizing figure, but he's really close with Trump. He worked with Trump in certain capacities before, and he's looking to kind of rally Trump's base in Pennsylvania to try and win the Senate seat. So you're just seeing more and more celebrities, whether it's A-list or B-list celebrities, run for office. Look, I mean, let's face it. When this whole thing started with Trump running for office, he was basically a B-list celebrity, right? I mean, when you think of an A-list celebrity, you think of someone like I hate to use this because he's not in politics at all, but someone like a Will Smith, or like a Denzel Washington, or like a Jack Nicholson. These are A-list celebrities, right? Trump was a B-list celebrity, let's be honest. And, now you're seeing Dr. Oz making a run for the Senate seat. And then at the same time, we had Matthew McConaughey in Texas. He was considering running for governor, and he was polling really, really high. In head-to-head polls, he was beating every other person who was running for governor. Now, that means that we could have been living in a world where a year from now, Mitch McConaughey would have been the governor of Texas and kind of setting himself up to be president eventually. I mean, let me know your thoughts on that, folks. I mean, we know he's charismatic. People like him. He's a really good speaker, which is half the battle in politics. And he kind of looks like Governor Newsom from California, right? But in any case, he actually decided not to run despite the fact that he was polling so high. And I won't bore you with this too much. I know this is kind of a silly topic, but let's quickly take a look and see what Mitch McConaughey said and why he decided not to run. Then we'll jump right into the stimulus update.
McConaughey says he will not run for Texas governor. The Oscar winner made the announcement on social media just moments ago, saying he instead wants to focus on serving his home state from outside of public office.
We have some problems we need to fix, that our politics needs new purpose, that we have divides that need healing, that we need more trust in our lives, that we got to start shining a light on our shared values, the ones that cross party lines, the ones that build bridges instead of burn them. As a simple kid born in the little town of Uvalde, Texas, it never occurred to me that I would one day be considered for political leadership. It's a humbling and inspiring path to ponder. It is also a path that I'm choosing not to take at this moment. What am I going to do? I'm going to continue to work and invest the bounty I have by supporting entrepreneurs, businesses, and foundations that I believe are leaders.
So it seems as though he really didn't want to get involved in politics, although he was polling really, really high. Now, he said a couple of nice things there, right? He said he wants us to focus on our common values, right? We're in such a divisive period where CNN and Fox News creates this like WWF-like divisiveness. Everyone's fighting with each other. And our differences, we have differences in values, but we have similarities in values. And our differences are being highlighted instead of highlighting our common values, right? And we could just as easily agree to disagree, try and compromise on some things, and focus on our common values to move forward as a country. Do what's important. Take care of the American people. For example, I think we could all agree that taking care of seniors and taking care of those who are disabled, especially after you paid taxes your entire life, should be a common value, right? I mean, this isn't something we should be fighting about. Bernie Sanders shouldn't have to be fighting for seniors to get an increase in Social Security benefits. He shouldn't have to be fighting for SSI and SSDI. This is something that should be agreed upon. This should be a common value. And honestly, I truly think it is. And let me know in the comments if you agree. I think with the media, with CNN and Fox News creating this kind of battle between each other and just focusing on the negative and how we can argue and create more controversy because it gets more clicks. I mean, this is why I say my channel is truly here to be a voice for you guys, be a voice for seniors, those who are disabled, because this is something that nobody is talking about. Because quite frankly, it's not polarizing, it's not divisive, so it doesn't get as many clicks, right? But this is the point of our channel. So that's why I say, guys, share this channel with anyone who you think might find this helpful, because it really goes a long way, not only in supporting my work, but also in increasing and amplifying our voice to get our message out there. All right, guys, let's talk about the stimulus update. Now, just to get you up to speed, at this point, you probably know, Bernie Sanders wants to do a debit card, or AKA a stimulus check for seniors in this budget bill, which is the stimulus check package, AKA the Build Back Better Act. Now, he started this off with a $1,000 debit card, and then some groups said they wanted it to be as high as $2,000, some groups said $1,400, and then President Biden himself acknowledged it and said it could be as low as $800. So the House approved the framework of the stimulus check package 2 weeks ago, Now it's in the Senate, and they didn't include the stimulus check in the House. So now it's in the Senate, and Bernie Sanders is trying to include the stimulus check for seniors in the stimulus package. Of course, it's going to be a huge couple of weeks because him and Joe Manchin are going to be going at it like crazy. Joe Manchin is going to try and take things out, while Bernie Sanders is going to try and continue to put things in. A couple of main things Bernie Sanders wants to include is a stimulus check for seniors. He also wants to include a larger expansion of Medicare, which would include vision and dental as well. The House only included hearing care. Joe Manchin is going to try and take things out like paid family leave. Joe Manchin doesn't want people to be guaranteed 4 weeks off when they have a baby. He doesn't want people to be guaranteed 4 weeks off when they have an illness. I mean, again, this should be a common value at this point, right? But those are the things that are kind of going on right now, and it's going to be a huge battle. It looks like currently the Senate is waiting for the parliamentarian to parse through the entire bill. It's probably like 2,000 pages, and say, okay, this is legally allowed to be in this package. There's a couple things that might be taken out, like the immigration reform that probably won't make it. Like earlier in the year when the minimum wage increase didn't make it because of the parliamentarian. But for the most part, everything should be intact. Then once the parliamentarian is done, then they're going to start really battling it out on the floor. They're going to start saying, hey, we need stimulus checks for seniors. You're going to see speeches from Bernie Sanders saying he wants this included, he wants that included. And you're going to see the opposite from Joe Manchin saying he wants things removed. And with that said, as the parliamentarian goes through the bill, Chuck Schumer has a deadline of December 23rd, but now he's saying he wants to bring it to a vote as soon as December 13th. So that would be really, really good. That's about 12 days from now, and that is what he's currently aiming for, folks, December 13th. That's huge news because previously he was only aiming for December 23rd. So if he's able to bring it to a vote on December 13th, what's going to happen is, either way, what's going to happen is they're going to make some changes called amendments. Once those changes are done, they're going to have to send it back to the House, and the House is going to have to approve those changes as well. And then they can send it to President Biden's desk to fully sign it into law. Now, whatever changes are done in the Senate, as long as they're not too drastic, not too extreme, basically, if Joe Manchin doesn't take too many things out, we expect it to quickly pass in the House. So if he is able to get this done on December 13th, we would expect within the next few days the House to approve it as well, and then President Biden to have it fully signed into law shortly after that, folks, probably by like December 16th or 17th. So it would be even sooner than the December 23rd deadline. So that's really, really good news. Now, with that said, guys, things will continue to develop. We're going to have some updates from the parliamentarian telling us what can and can't be in this package. We're going to have updates from Bernie Sanders and Joe Manchin as they debate and battle what ends up in this package. And we're also going to have updates on timelines as to when this package is going to be fully approved. So don't forget to subscribe, and I will keep you posted as things develop. So with that said, folks, I'm going to end this video with a clip from Chuck Schumer talking about his timeline to get the stimulus package done and the fact that he's hoping to get it done by Christmas at the absolute latest. So let's take a look, see what Chuck Schumer had to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video.
Now on NDAA, the Defense Act. Madam President, we begin an important week for what will be an important final month of 2021. Later today, the Senate will vote on cloture on the substitute amendment to the NDAA. NDAA has been passed by this chamber for over 60 years, and there's no good reason why this year should be any different. Before Thanksgiving, the Senate worked in as bipartisan way as it could to lay the groundwork for advancing the defense bill. Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Reid and Ranking Member Inhofe reached an agreement, a bipartisan agreement, on a package of 18 amendments. Let me repeat that, 18 amendment votes for the Senate to hold roll call votes on. Nearly half of those amendments were led by a Republican. That would be more amendments to the NDAA receiving roll call votes than in the last 4 years combined. We also agreed to the substitute amendment, which included at least 50 amendments, 27 of which were led by a Republican. Senator Inhofe, the ranking member of the Armed Services Committee, agreed to this. In any other time, this would be considered a very fair and generous compromise, even though every member didn't get every amendment they wanted. The leadership on both sides would have made sure that cloture was granted. Unfortunately, Republicans could not accept this agreement before Thanksgiving, but we hope that Republican dysfunction will not be a roadblock to passing this bill and taking care of our troops and their families. Now on government funding. As we all know, by the end of this week, both parties must come to an agreement for funding the government and avoiding a needless shutdown. At the end of September, Democrats and Republicans worked together to keep the government open through December 3rd. avoiding many of the fights that tainted so many funding debates under the previous administration. After the House takes action this week, the Democratic-led Senate will move forward to make sure the government remains funded after the deadline. With so many critical issues, the last thing the American people need right now is a government shutdown, and Democrats are going to work this week to make sure we don't have one this time around. It's important to get it done, and we are working to get it done. And finally, Madam President, on Build Back Better. Before the end of the year, the Senate will also act on President Biden's Build Back Better legislation, which momentously passed the House at the very end of the last work period. This week, Democrats will continue to meet with the Senate parliamentarian in order to complete the technical and procedural work required before a bill comes to the floor. Meetings were held over the Thanksgiving week, and we will continue this week and next week as needed. As I've said repeatedly, once this necessary work is completed with the parliamentarian, I will bring the President's Build Back Better legislation to the floor so we can pass it as soon as possible and send it to the President's desk. Our goal continues to be to get this done before Christmas. Build Back Better represents the largest investment in the American people in generations. Under our bill, child care will be more affordable, pre-K will be more affordable, and raising kids overall will be more affordable for tens of millions of parents. The bill will take unprecedented steps in the fight against the climate crisis, paving the way for even greater action in the future. And as scores of economists from across the ideological spectrum attest to, Build Back Better will not worsen inflation, and in the long run help bring costs under control.